My name is Alex Rivera, and I never thought a simple birthday party could turn my quiet suburban life into a war zone. I'd lived in the Willow Creek subdivision for 5 years. The houses were neat, the lawns manicured, and the homeowners association ruled everything with an iron fist wrapped in pastel bylaws. At the center of it all was Karen Whitaker, president of the HOA and self-appointed guardian of community standards. Karen was the kind of woman who measured grass height with a ruler and sent certified letters if your holiday lights stayed up past January 3rd. Everyone smiled at her block parties while quietly hating her guts. My 35th birthday fell on a Saturday in early June. I decided to throw a backyard barbecue, nothing crazy, just 20 friends, a grill, some music, and cold beer. I hung string lights, set up cornhole boards, and even rented a bounce house for the kids. It was going to be perfect. 2 days before the party, Karen knocked on my door wearing her signature visor and clipboard. "Alex," she said, lips pursed, "I noticed you haven't submitted an event permit for your gathering this weekend." I laughed. "It's a backyard birthday party, Karen. 20 people. I don't think the HOA requires a permit for hamburgers." Her eyes narrowed. Section 14C of the covenants clearly states any gathering of 10 or more non-residents must be pre-approved to ensure adequate parking and noise compliance. "I'll keep the music down," I promised. "It'll be over by 10. She stared at me for a long moment. "You know, Alex, the board always appreciates when neighbors include leadership in community events. It fosters goodwill." The implication hung in the air like cheap perfume. She wanted an invitation. I smiled tightly. "It's mostly old college friends and coworkers. Very casual." Her face hardened. "I see. Well, enjoy your exclusive little soiree." She turned on her heel and marched back to her McMansion across the cul-de-sac. The party was everything I hoped for. Laughter, good food, kids shrieking in the bounce house. We wrapped up at 9:45, just to be safe. By 10:30, the yard was cleaned, guests gone, lights off. At 11:17 p.m., red and blue lights painted my living room walls. I opened the door to 2 police officers. "Evening, sir. We received a noise complaint and a report of underage drinking." I was stunned. The party ended over an hour ago. Everyone's gone. One officer peered past me into the dark, empty backyard. "Looks quiet now. Mind if we walk through?" They did a quick sweep, found nothing, and left with apologies. But as they pulled away, I saw Karen standing on her porch in a silk robe, arms crossed, watching. The next morning, I woke to find my front yard destroyed. Someone had taken red spray paint and written "Party Violator" in giant letters across my garage door. My mailbox was smashed, lying in the street like roadkill. Worst of all, every single one of my carefully tended rose bushes, plants I'd nurtured for 3 years, had been hacked to stumps with what looked like garden shears. I stood there in my pajamas, coffee going cold in my hand, rage building like a summer storm. Security cameras. I'd installed them 6 months earlier after some teenager kept ding-dong ditching the neighborhood. I pulled up the footage on my phone. There she was. At 2:14 a.m., Karen Whitaker, wearing black leggings, a dark hoodie, and gloves, crept into my yard carrying a can of spray paint. The night vision caught her face clearly as she shook the can and began her vandalism. 10 minutes later, she returned with shears and methodically destroyed my roses, grunting with effort on the thicker stems. I watched it 3 times, hardly believing my eyes. I called the police and showed them the video. They arrested Karen that afternoon for vandalism and filing a false police report. She screamed about privacy invasion as they cuffed her on her perfect lawn while neighbors filmed on their phones. But I wasn't done. Karen posted bail and immediately began a campaign to have me removed from the neighborhood. She sent emails claiming my cameras violated HOA rules. They didn't, they were aimed only at my property. She organized emergency board meetings. She even tried to claim my bounce house had damaged the grass. It hadn't. So I fought back the way only someone with time, evidence, and pure spite can. First, I printed stills from the security footage, Karen mid-vandalism, face crystal clear, and mailed copies to every homeowner with a polite note, for your awareness regarding recent criminal activity in our community. Then I dug into the HOA financial records. As a member, I was entitled to see them. What I found was glorious. Karen had been using HOA funds for personal expenses, landscaping at her own home listed as community beautification, pool maintenance billed when we don't have a pool, and thousands in administrative fees that went straight to her. I presented my findings at the next board meeting, complete with spreadsheets and bank statements I'd requested through proper channels. The vote to remove Karen as president was unanimous. Even her closest allies abandoned her when faced with potential legal liability. But the piece de resistance came at the annual HOA holiday party, the one Karen had lorded over for a decade. The new board, which now included me, decided to try something different. We hired a caterer, booked a live band, and sent invitations to every single household. Including Karen. She showed up, of course. Couldn't resist seeing what we'd done to her event. Halfway through the evening, we dimmed the lights for announcements. I took the microphone. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight, I began. Especially after the unpleasantness earlier this year. The crowd murmured. I think we all learned something important, I continued. About community. About inclusion. About what happens when one person thinks they're more important than everyone else. I nodded to the DJ. The opening bars of Sweet Caroline began to play, but with custom lyrics projected on a screen behind me. Footage from my security camera rolled silently, Karen spray painting my garage, Karen hacking my roses, Karen being led away in handcuffs. The new lyrics told the whole story. The crowd roared with laughter and applause. Karen stood frozen in her ugly Christmas sweater, face crimson, as every neighbor turned to look at her. She fled the party and put her house on the market 2 weeks later. The new buyers are a lovely young couple with a baby on the way. They've already asked for my recommendation on rose varieties. Some people say revenge is a dish best served cold. I say it's best served at a community party, with custom lyrics and video evidence, while your former tormentor watches her empire crumble. My roses are blooming again this spring, bigger and brighter than ever. And every time I grill in my backyard, I raise a beer to the empty house across the street. I ran on a platform of transparency, all HOA meetings recorded and posted online, fines appealed publicly, no more anonymous complaints. Basic decency stuff. Karen panicked. She sent emails accusing me of divisiveness. Put up her own signs, experience. Happy birthday to me,